Continue, we will look into the different codes that you see in the first section. So the code or the generated program that the computer uses is this. So basically this program will show the word hello world to the DOS. Okay, so how does it do it and what are all of these codes stand for? So to start off, we will start in the first line. So what does the include IO stream means? So this is what we call the header. It contains information necessary or useful for the program. Basically, these are your libraries. Since code of C++ is a modular programming, in order for you to make use of different functions, then you need to include the necessary file so that you will be able to use that certain function. In this case, the reason why we place IO stream or we included the IO stream is because we are going to use the word or the function cout and L. Now, when you are going to use, as you can see there, the cout command, which is here in my screen, color blue, is a command used to transfer uh, what is written in the right side of this condition to the console output, no, or the DOS screen. So if you don't have this IO stream in your command, then the computer will not recognize this cout command. Okay, so again, as you can see here, if I highlight that one, this is connected to the O stream std :cout. So again, if you erase the include files or the headers, there are tendencies that some of the codes that is written will not direct recognize because it is no longer included in the library. So when you start a program, it is much better to identify what are the functions that you are going to use in your code. Okay, so next one is this line. Now take note, you might say, sir, there is a space or there is a line skip. In C++, it does not matter whether there is a line skip or not. It doesn't even matter if you have here uh, multiple skip lines. What it recognizes is that it is another set of codes after the include IO stream. Okay. So the second line that you will see here is using namespace std, no, or standard library. So it specifies a simplified access to the standard library. You can opt not to use this one. However, it could be very difficult or tedious if you keep on writing std at the very front of every function of your code. A good example of this one is, let's say, for example, if I don't use this one, by the way, writing a double slashes means that it is a comment line. It means that it does not recognize as a code, but it's just a comment line. Now, it will not be run as a part of a code. So if I comment this out, meaning I remove this line of code, then when we run the program, we can see, or build the program, we can see that there is an error which is highlighted by this red square, that there is an error that it does not recognize this one. In order for the computer to recognize that one, then I need to place in front of that the standard library, like that. So when I do that, then therefore, and of course, NL is also a standard library and it does not recognize that one. So therefore, if I write that one, if I run that, it now recognizes that these two codes are part of the standard library. So to simplify it, we will just erase that one and we will just place the word using namespace std at the very beginning of the code. Now, take note that it ends in a semicolon. All programs that is terminated or commands are terminated in semicolon. Okay, the next part is we go now to the main function. So if you can see here, this is the int main. So it means at the very beginning, when you run the program, the computer will look for this main function. Okay, so in the main function, you can see there that it is bounded by a curly brace. So it means that this is the beginning and this is the end of the program. You can even minimize and increase and minimize the code. So it means that this code inside of this curly brace is part of the main program. And again, the main program, the computer will always look for the main program first before executing any other functions. So in this case, we have cout. So what is cout? Cout basically is a predefined identifier that stands for console output and generally refers to the computer screen. So again, cout command means that anything at the right side will be displayed into your screen, provided that you have a separator, an output operator, causes whatever expression is on its right side to be output of the device specified in its left side. So it's like an arrow pointing into the left direction. So it means that this one, hello world, is pointed out to this command and it will display this hello world string. Now, if you are going to declare something as a string, make sure you place that one into a double quotation mark. Anything that is inside a double quotation mark, it will consider that as a string of character. And since we will have another command, we need to separate it with another operator, our output operator. So we can see here that this is a command, an operator, a string, a command, an operator, then a command. So you cannot place there like this, where two operators are combined together. So you have to separate them with a double greater than. Okay, the next one is the return 0. So since we are using in the int main, we are using int as a return value, therefore there should be a return value for the main. However, you can avoid this one by just simply writing this out and having no return value, since we are not returning any value yet. We will discuss more on returning values once we go to the function discussion. So if you build this one, you can see that it's still working properly. There is no error. So let's go back. So basically this is returning something that is empty. Okay, so again, so the flow of this program is like this. The computer sees this one and says, okay, I'm using a IOStream library. So anything that is inside this library, the user or the programmer can use. So therefore, cout and NL, you can use that one. The second line will talk about, okay, to make it more simplified, that you are using standard libraries. So I'm just placing it here. So I don't need to write every code using std at the front of it. And of course, the last thing is the main program. Okay, so the main, if you write it here uh, like this, therefore it will run this code as part of the main program. Now, some of students will place there a semicolon at the very part. It will cause an error, so be careful with that one. If you run that, you can see there that there is an error with this one. So make sure that there is no semicolon at the beginning of the main program. Okay, so next session, we will try to create our first, or try to manipulate or make use of the cout function.